Jenny, how to balance intake and output of energy as a humble healer. Okay. Well, I'm not a healer per se. Well, we all are healers in our own ways, but you're talking about energy healing. It sounds like specific. I do have those abilities, and they do come out, but it's not something I really focus on so much in my own journey, not at this point. So all I'm saying is I'm certainly no expert in this, but I know a lot of people that do it, and I have some information on it, and I can talk on anything. If you give me a subject, I'm sure I can. I'll just let it flow, feelings and whatnot. So I do hear people struggling with that. What I hear a lot is people, and I mentioned this in another video, a similar video, but I'll say it again. I do have noticed that, and it's understandable because we're all human and we're all going through things. Healers need healing too, and healers have to go through their own stuff too. So a common thing I see though is a lot of healers become quite afraid either of their ability or the people they're trying to help, or both. But quite often the people they're trying to help. They don't mean to, they're not being mean or anything, but you can just hear it in the way they talk. I'm sure they don't even hear it themselves, and just, they're human and they're stressed and they're worried, and you can hear they feel very threatened by these energies, and they worry about keeping balance and being drained, etc., and feeling other energies that they consider dark, or they perceive or experience as much darker and unpleasant. And so if you want specific, I would say definitely look it up. Definitely look up, maybe type it in Facebook, the topic, and you'll probably see groups on it. Tons of groups, lots of great forums, a lot of great support groups. So look on Facebook for that. If you just look on the internet, I'm sure you'll see tons of information, people giving each other tips and how to work through it. So if that's the way you want to go, you could definitely look it up. There's lots of information out there. All I would say, though, for me, from my perspective, which is a different perspective, I'm not really doing that stuff, focusing on it. Excuse me, I need a drink. But I would say when you're doing it, though, definitely, because everything's bottom line is always about your own growth first and foremost, and so you always want to be loving yourself and giving yourself the care and the time you need, and if things are getting too heavy energetically and helping people, then you pull back. That's it. You should always come first, and that applies to your growth too. So if you also start to hear your own dialogue, monitor your thoughts, if you start to feel or hear yourself expressing yourself or others that this big intrepidation about of other people almost being a threat to you, or being afraid of them, it's good to confront that and be honest with that and give yourself a break on that, so that you can work through and let it go and move past it and try to change your perception of them. And whatever kind of healers we are, I think of us as helpers, but you can call it healers, whatever it is. We put the sign out. So when we put the sign out, people are going to come. And sometimes we put the sign out energetically. I have no sign out, but it's energetically there. And in my videos and everything else, so people just come to me, and it just increases in time. So in so many ways, we put the sign out, but we put the sign out. So when we put the sign out, we got to look at it from their point of view. A lot of people are going through a lot of pain. They're really suffering. They're really confused. They're in a very chaotic world. So yeah, we're going to get it all, and we're going to see it all. And also what we're going through is going to attract certain types of them. That's the complexity of it. So if you do have certain issues, things, we're probably also going to draw certain people with certain problems. So it's very complex, but it's best not to I feel anyways, to worry too much about that stuff or get up in the mind about it. Just get back into the heart as much as possible. Concentrate on your real growth, on your own growth. And when you feel moved to help people, and only when you feel moved to. And if you don't anymore, then if you need to back away or whatever you need to do, you need to find tips to balance yourself out, or whatever you need to do, then do it. So yeah, there's lots of information you can and help out there you can get for balancing energy. For me, I don't really. Occasionally, I will get energies from outside of me that will be overwhelming, but it's rare. It's a few times a year. But for the most part, I also serve and do what I can for people. Reach out to me, and I do what I can for them. And I've every kind of story and every kind of situation, every kind of stage of growth, and every and a lot of stuff that are really dark stuff and a lot of dark energies. And because of my inner work, I feel, anyways, that's just my guess, but because I don't, anything I can do, you can do. So my guess is, for me, the reason that it's not an issue with me is I've been so long on the road of self-love and self-exploration that, and I'm still growing and I still have things to do, but because I've been so solid in that for so long, I don't, and because I've been so empowered and felt that for so long in my life, I don't feel or believe that anybody can take my energy. I take full responsibility. So there's whatever fear that is that makes us think that somebody can take our energy. I don't know, it could be wrong, maybe you can, but I've been around really dark energies. I've seen it all and felt it all, and I'm in my life and continue to, and it doesn't affect me on that sense, rarely. And if it does, I just go inward. I just do what I need to do, step away if I have to, but it almost never happens. Again, perception is everything here. So if you don't believe anyone can take your energy, then they can't. That's what I believe. And if you believe they can, then we see it in everyday emotional energy, right? You're in, say, an intimate relationship and you start arguing, but they can always get to you. That person can always get to you. Well, it's because you let them get to you. You give them permission. You give that energy. So I believe that applies to everything here. And so because I think it's a combination of my beliefs and also how much I love myself and how much I'm comfortable with myself and love my life and love myself and have for a long time. I think it's the combination. So like everything, the medicine I say is love yourself. But if you need to do tricks or need to do something to balance the energy, then by all means, look into that, do it. Explore stuff yourself. See what works for you, always, of course. Excuse me. And monitor your thoughts, just because we were always creating. So try not to see these people as threats or adversary. It helps you, helps the whole thing. And that's about it. I don't really have much more to say on that. We all find our own way. I understand, it's common, I hear it a lot. So you'll find what works for you. But we can also reprogram what we believe in, thus our perception. So it couldn't hurt to try to play with the thought that, hey, they can't take my energy if I don't let them. But, whatever you're going to do. If that doesn't work, if you're not ready to believe that, then I'm sure there's lots of techniques you can do out there. I just don't know what they are off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's tons. Because it's a common problem. There's a lot of healers out there, so lots of info for you. You probably already looked into a lot of it, but anyways, very interesting question. Thank you. Have a good night.